Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeffrey Bettering in here for breaking news with the terrorist attack in Russia, in Moscow, or a suburb of Moscow, during local time. Apparently, there are terrorists. The last count I had was someone had said that there had been a number of somewhere between 9 or 11 ISIS terrorists that making a live attack on a I guess a venue of some kind, something having to do with like a theater or something over in a suburb of Moscow, where apparently as people were assembling, waiting for a concert to begin, some people armed with AK-type rifles and so forth, and Molotov cocktails, all things, stormed inside the event venue and began shooting all the way from coming up the stairs and entering into the building, going in through and sweeping in through into the main area where the arena is, where the seating is and so forth. Right now, scores of people are said to have been injured. There are at least 20 people dead. Perhaps that number is going to rise. And after throwing the Molotov cocktails, ladies and gentlemen, it is said that the venue had started burning terribly, and it was burning out of control for quite a while. Military has been called in. They've been trying to take back control from the people. ISIS, which is the Islamic State in Syria, is claiming responsibility for this attack. For more information, we've got a video coming up. Mr. Blazeman, if you've got that, please, would you go ahead and roll that so we can get some more information for the people for the way we see it. Thank you.
Tonight, reports from Moscow suggesting a number of people have been killed and wounded during a shooting at a concert hall there. Videos posted online also show smoke appearing to emerge from the Crocus concert hall. Now, Russian news agencies say at least 3 people dressed in camouflage opened fire at the venue. In a statement, Moscow's mayor has said a huge tragedy has occurred. There have also been reports that the roof of the theatre building is now on fire. People are still inside that building. Let's get the very latest with our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, in Moscow. And Steve, evening to you. Just bring us up to date on what we know about what's going on so far.
Well, this is a developing story. It's still going on. This is what we know so far. That earlier this evening, a number of armed men burst into a concert hall in Moscow, the Crocus City Hall, just before a pop concert, and began shooting. The hall was packed with visitors, and mobile phone footage shows scenes of chaos, as you can imagine. You can hear the shots ringing out. Now, there are no official figures yet as to how many people have been killed, but reports of at least 12 people having been killed in this attack. The building is on fire. Possibly a third of the building is on fire, and we believe that dozens of people may still be trapped inside the building. Also reports that a number of the gunmen may have barricaded themselves inside the building. So this is still going on very much, and Russian special forces have been deployed to the scene. Also, 50 ambulances have been called to the scene. So the casualty figures could well rise. As I say, no official figure yet as to how many people have been killed, but already reports suggesting that quite a few people may have been killed in this attack.
Yeah, Steve, just a line coming into us here. You may be looking at the same sources that we are, but Russian rescue services saying they've evacuated 100 people from the basement of that building where the shooting and explosions occurred. They say there are still people on the roof, and we're also getting a sense that there are people potentially still inside. And as you were telling us there, if those gunmen have barricaded themselves in there, one assumes this may turn into some sort of hostage situation. As you said, very few details at the moment, but do we know that some people have been able to get out?
Yeah, well, we've seen mobile phone footage of people who did get out, who managed to get out to safety to the car park. So people have got out from the incident. Also reports coming in of another explosion from inside the building. So we don't know what's going on there right now. But obviously, this is a very serious situation. As I said, special forces have been deployed there. The FSB, Russia's domestic security service, also has gone to the scene. Emergency services too. So we'll follow the story through the evening into the night.
Stay with us just one moment, Steve. Stay with us. Further details coming to us now. Reuters reporting more than 70 ambulances at the place of that shooting. We don't know how many people they are able to help there. And very few details, as you said, at this stage, because this is very much an ongoing situation. The latest line there that some people are still on the roof, perhaps hoping they may be able to get out that way. Also a line suggesting that some people, up to 100 people, were evacuated using the underground system in the basement of that building. And Steve, give me a sense, if you will, of what the security services will be doing right now and what they may know about what is happening and what help they may be able to offer.
I would imagine it's quite a chaotic situation, right? This came completely out of the blue. I mean,
Mr.
interesting
President,
how
if you could hold this video
a number
for a
of
moment,
armed
please.
men were able to get
I
into.
want to update some people with some information that's just come in. Yeah, we have reports now that there are as many as 40 people have been murdered by the attack. 40 people are known, numbered as dead. There have scores of people that are injured, still apparently trapped inside the burning building. And they also have reports now that the military is trying to quench the fire in the building using air-dropped water from helicopters. Apparently, this is something that's, from what I'm receiving, the information I'm receiving, is still going on in Moscow. Again, it's a suburb of Moscow. It's not outside. It's not in Moscow directly. And that's more of the information we have. If you want to continue with the video, please go right ahead.
What is quite a prominent concert hall in Moscow, the Crocus City Hall. You would imagine that there would be tight security there, especially at this time. But obviously, these 5 men were able, if they were 5, were able to get inside. We don't know who they are. We've just seen reports that men in camouflage, armed men in camouflage, went into the concert hall and began shooting. So, as I say, we don't know who they are, and perhaps more information will come out through the evening about who the attackers actually are, and also about the casualty figures, because, as I say, no official figures now, lots of numbers appearing on social media, which we cannot confirm. But as I say, the fact that 50 ambulances have been called to the scene, that suggests that the authorities fear that the casualty toll could be quite high.
Well, there you have it, ladies, and we thank very much our friends at the BBC for the information that they have been able to provide. Again, we have had some updated information. Originally, the information I had was at 20, where that is now 40 plus. 40 plus apparently are dead, and scores of people injured. And as far as we know, at least 3 of the attackers are said to still be alive and barricaded in the building. And as we are told, the fire is still going on. Now, we do have some more video information coming up. Before that, I also want to reach out and give a piece of side information. Apparently, the Princess of Wales has come out very recently, just now, that the Princess of Wales has apparently been diagnosed and is being treated for cancer. We wish the royal family well. We don't want to get further into that, but I just wanted to go ahead and broach the subject let you know about that. We've got another video coming up for this terrorist attack, Mr. Blazeman. Have we got that available now? Thank you, please.
Yeah, this video right here, B, is viewer beware. Okay?
Oh yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. I can't pronounce it, but it was Krasachkan,
It was Crocus
Russia.
City Hall. Crocus, like a flower.
Listen to that. Just listen to it. Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah.
You know, what does this,
Сидел в зале сверху, где балконы были.
what does this
Вот,
do
услышали
for the
выстрелы,
Middle East?
сначала не поняли, что произошло. Потом
Look at
лично
him.
увидел, как террористы
I
зашли,
saw the terrorists and then they
начали
started
расстреливать
shooting
всех,
everyone.
кинули в итоге молотов, все подожглось.
They threw
Нас
Molotov
повели к
cocktails.
выходу, в итоге выход был заперт. Мы бегали по всему Крокус-Сити, пытались найти выход, но было
Trying to
безуспешно.
find
Вот.
exits.
Зашли в подвал Крокус-Сити, холла, и дождались МЧС, и вот вышли.
Видели перестрелку, там очень много погибших и раненых. Сейчас начался пожар там.
He said there are many dead and wounded.
We've all seen the
Here we go.
reports in
Here-
the video coming out of Moscow. This violent shooting at looks like a shopping mall. Can't speak much to the details of it. I mean, this was all just breaking before I came on out here, so we're trying to get more information, but really would refer to Russian authorities to speak to it. The images are just horrible and just hard to watch, and our thoughts obviously are going to be with the victims of this terrible, terrible shooting attack. You look at that video if you have, and you got to recognize that there's some moms and dads and brothers and sisters and sons and daughters that haven't gotten the news yet, and this is going to be a tough day. So our thoughts are with them. You might have also seen, hopefully you saw the State Department, our embassy there, put out a notice to all Americans in Moscow to avoid any large gathering, concerts,
Could you hold the video,
obviously,
please?
shopping malls, anything like that.
I do want to reach out. Number one, we have some information from Mr. Arch. Thank you very, very much for your comments. I did want to say that the Biden administration did apparently have early warning that something was going to happen in Moscow and did notify the government of Russia that there was apparently some danger of an impending terrorist attack. Apparently, they didn't heed the warning, and they did mention something about a terrorist attack coming to Moscow. However, well, the Russian government will do whatever they will, and they take things with salt. But the American government did apparently have some sort of intelligence that suggested strongly that Moscow was going to be hacked with an attack and with some sort of Islamist extremist attack. So with that, you can go right ahead and play the rest of this video if you like.
Just for their own safety, they should stay put where they are and stay plugged into the State Department for any additional updates and information. I'm afraid that's really all I have on that.
I know you're still gathering information, but do you have any sense whether this could be linked at all to the conflict in Ukraine?
There is no indication at this time that Ukraine or Ukrainians were involved in this shooting. But again, this just broke. We're taking a look at it, but I would disabuse you at this early hour of any connection to Ukraine.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you very much to our engineer, Mr. Blazeman. Thank you also for joining us, Mr. Arch, Charles Arch. I want to thank you very much for your input. Yes, that was the unmistakable sound, and I know you know it very well, of an AK-47 being fired. It's a 7.62 by 3.9, I believe,
Yes.
size round.
What I wanna get into is that okay, so all terrorists use AK-47s. All terrorists do. Okay, unless it's you know, an ingrown terrorist, like an American or whatever. Yeah, then you'll see like an M16 or an M15 or whatever the situation may be. But outside the United States, it's a AK-47. Let's get that correct, because Russia and all them other countries are going to sell this stuff on the black market to survive. Stay there. My concern, okay, is the fact that what happens now in the Middle East? Does Russia is Russia going to retaliate?
Well,
If
Moscow,
anybody
being
has comments
Moscow,
on X, Twitter, shoot them right in. We'd like to answer. Anybody
Yes,
wants to
also
call
we have-
into the show, we can call into the show at 508-974-4231 or send us an email. But this is crazy that we had to jump in on the FFN network. It is breaking news because it's making me a little nervous. Okay. But a simple fact is now what's the retaliation with Russia? And where's ISIS located?
Well,
Where's ISIS's, main place? Where's their training camps at? Where are they?
again, ISIS stands for the Islamic State in Syria.
Right.
So, of course, you realize and you know that ISIS, there's going to be, especially with Moscow having been attacked, the Russians are not going to leave this unchallenged. You know that they're going to have some sort of response, and it's not going to be some tickle me with a feather response like the Biden administration has. This is going to be something that goes on in Syria, and of course, again, Mr. Arch, thank you very much. Yes, he confirms Syria. It will be what they're going to hit and when they're going to hit. It's not going to be. It's not going to be.
Well, that's
very long before they do something.
Excuse me. That's a wide choice from the commenter. I mean, look, yeah, obviously, yeah, Syria, Iran, Iraq, yeah, it can be any of them, but I don't think ISIS is in Iran. Okay.
Well, actually, they are. ISIS has bases in Iran, Iraq. I believe they have some in the UAE, if I'm not mistaken. They may have some bases there.
Right.
But yes, they're you know that Moscow is going to have some sort of a response, and it's not going to be as measured as what they've done. This pussyfooting around like the Biden administration has been doing. They're going to go something. It's going to be decisive, and it's going to obliterate something very well. It's going to obliterate
that's
something.
what's making me nervous. I mean, if they're going to retaliate, again, one of our viewers says it's going to be either Syria, Iran, or Iraq. I don't think Russia's going to mess with Iran. Okay. Because Iran is selling them weapons and all this stuff like that, But the thing here is what's worrying me is where would their retaliation? In other words, Russia's not going to be flying one of their jets in that area because the United States is just everywhere.
Well, let me tell you about what Iran has done. Iran has been cuddling up to the Russians and doing the same sort of thing that Adolf Hitler did with Joseph Stalin. What did he do? Oh, he cuddled up to Joseph Stalin, and they had their non-aggression pact, and then they turn around and they go right in and march into Russia. So the Iranians are doing exactly the same thing. So now we're all seeing things in a whole different light. And by the way, I'm going to say it. I told you so. I told you these things were coming, and it's still going to happen here. You've seen the information come where they grabbed someone coming over the border.
Right, exactly. And that's what I wanted to get into
it's
next,
coming
ladies
here
and
too.
Gentlemen. I mean, look, the fact that ISIS hit Moscow should serve as a warning to the Biden administration. Okay? That ISIS, I mean, how many people are coming over the border? You're not telling me that
and they're not coming from Mexico.
And
They're
then
coming through Mexico.
everybody thinks that they're, Mexicans crossing the border. No, ladies and gentlemen, no. FFN Network has people that live in El Paso, Texas, okay, and observe that stuff for the network, okay, then send information back to us and stuff. I mean, I apologize for me saying that there's no Mexicans crossing the border. But the majority, and we're talking about a good 70%, if not higher, are from Lithuania, some of the other islands
Latvia, Estonia, from the Balkans,
right,
Chechnya.
right.
We've got people coming from Hugo Chavez's wet dream down there. They're coming up this way. And what are they doing? Oh, no. They're not coming here to pick flowers. They're coming here to sell drugs. They're coming here to intimidate, to threaten, to cause damage, to steal and rob. And they're
Not
coming from
all.
all over the place.
Not all. Okay, not all. They're not all coming here to steal and rob. Okay, and that's what the former President Trump gets himself in trouble with when he sticks that damn foot in his mouth and he says things ridiculous to that nature. Okay, they're not all bad people. There are some that legitimately want to come in. Okay, the biggest thing is that, and the reason why we cover it here on the FFN network is to get the facts right. And that's the truth. Okay. Number two, it's you can't vet all these people, B. You can't vent them all.
Well, you can't vet any if they're coming through unabated and unchallenged. That's the biggest problem. But all of that having been said, let's turn our focus back to Moscow, where right now there's a building that's burning uncontrolled with people trapped inside. Some of them are getting out through the, as they call the underground, the subway tunnels that are beneath it, but others are trapped inside over there, and it's quickly turning into a roasting pan. And the ISIS people are all going lachma lacha lacha and celebrating this. And they were told. So it is time for people to get off their ass and start being more vigilant around here in the United States, because it's coming here. Believe me, it's going to happen. Do we have any further updated numbers? Have you seen anything else come through the news wire for anything?
Yeah, I'm looking at the news wire as we speak, B. Okay, you're doing a great job informing our audience, but it's
you went dead.
Sorry, there's a lot of confusion.
Okay,
right now.
Of course, there's going to be. This is the situation, and as they say in times such as this, in times of chaos, there is opportunity, but there's always chaos. It is unfortunate that's what's going on, and I can only think of what is happening to the people of Moscow, and the Muscovites that are going around scratching their heads saying, "What the hell happened?" They had no idea. They figured things were going to be hunky dory because of Premier Putin dancing around with the Iranians. Well, unfortunately, they bit into the wrong apple. And now they're getting the apple jack, unfortunately. So,
yeah, but Iran's gonna. This is what's confusing me a little bit, because Iran sponsors ISIS, So, and we all know that Iran gives Russia some oil or whatever, things to that nature, helping them with weapons and guns and stuff like that. So I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for repeating myself, but what worries me is what is going. Look, if ISIS comes here, God forbid, and wipes out and does what they do over there, you're not going to tell me that there's not going to be some missiles shot off a ship to take out an ISIS training camp or whatever. We're going to retaliate somehow, some way like that. And for me to sit here and people try to say, "Oh, don't worry, Russia's not going to do anything."
You don't seem to understand.
No way.
Care. They don't care. They're doing the things where they can get the biggest attraction, the biggest buck for their bang, so to speak, if you will. They're getting the most attention to turn around and say, see, even the Russians aren't safe. They're trying to give people in the world the ultimate terrorism is that no place is safe. And they're doing a hell of a good job about it.
Well, like I said, and the thing keeps coming to my mind, like I said, exactly what one of our viewers said. You know, the fact that ISIS hit Moscow should serve a warning to the Biden administration.
Absolutely.
You know, and if God forbid something happens like that in this country, where do you think that the source came from? The border.
Yeah. And I look at the comment, the I-12 GIA, the people who are on our FFN network, they have a show. They are recommending their expertise, and they have it. They're saying that they themselves are saying that the United States should be on high alert at this time that these things are happening.
Correct.
We have a call coming in.
I believe so. We could. Hey, caller, you're on the air with The Way We See It on the FFN network. How are you this evening?
Fine. This is Christopher from New Britain, Connecticut. How are you?
How are you, Christopher, from New Britain, Connecticut? What can we do for you this evening?
Well, I wanted to talk about Mr. Trump. And of course, Mr. B, I'm very good friends with him. I always respect what he has to say, and I appreciate your show. Thank you very much. But everything rises and falls on leadership. And I hear people say that if Trump were in office even now, and hopefully he will be in the election, would these things be actually happening? Would Russia be as bold? Would Syria be as bold as to do what they're doing now if Trump was in office? And will his being in office actually change anything?
B?
Christopher, thank you very much for your call. I love you, brother, like you are my brother, and you are my brother. And yeah, you know what? If Donald Trump were still president, or if we were in presidency right now, this would not be happening. Because, number one, we wouldn't have had the disastrous things that happened over in Afghanistan. We pulled out. We wouldn't have all of these things going on, most likely over in Israel. And these people wouldn't be taking and going after ships over in the Middle East, disrupting the shipping lanes and so forth. It wouldn't be happening. Why? Because America would not only be strong, she would be feared and respected because of it. And unfortunately, no, we've got somebody who sits in office sucking his thumb and eating ice cream.
Yes. So what is it about Trump? And of course, we've all experienced it, and I'm one of the people who know that things were far better under Trump. I mean, as your co-host said, oftentimes he did put his foot in his mouth and say things that people didn't appreciate. It didn't bother me. But what is it about Trump himself as a president and as a hopeful president in November? What is it about him that makes Putin and that makes the other countries sit up and take notice and not dare to pull the shenanigans that they're doing now?
What are you stuck, B? You got stuck?
I'm terribly sorry. I can't. It's like you can look at a piece of art and understand how beautiful it is, but not describe how the paintbrush was put on the canvas. There are so many different things that can be and could be and should have been done to hold us as respected as we were, and I just can't throw all of it into it. There's no way that I can come up with it. But one of the things that I can say is the military that we have and the show of it. I love them. I respect them. Believe me, I respect them. But unfortunately, it's a mess. And it's a mess because of what we have sitting in the White House and his cabinet.
My vote. Now, my vote definitely in November is for Trump, and it was the first time and will continue to be, because there's no way in the world that we can continue with 4 more years or another year, another month of what we've gotten there now. Absolutely not. It's just will be continue to be disastrous for our country and disastrous for the world. That's how I feel.
Yeah. One of the things that
Blaze St. Pierre here, FFN Network, the way we see it. I have a question for you. What is your concern? I mean, like I was saying earlier, my concern is how is Russia? They're going to retaliate, and I want to know what your thoughts are on how.
Well, yes, Russia and other countries are not cowards, and the leadership that they have is strong leadership. If they're going to retaliate, and they will, I believe, they're going to retaliate. How exactly they'll do it is up to them and their political policies and their military. If they didn't retaliate, they would be cowards, and no country with a leadership of a superpower is a coward. It wouldn't surprise me. My concern is America and how their retaliation would affect us and would impact us here as Americans. And I think getting back to Trump, and not to evade your question, but getting back to Trump, that was what made people support him. He was concerned first about America. He was concerned first about protecting it and its people. And of course, he certainly would be concerned about America in relation to any other country. So my question would be, how would it impact us? Would the retaliation come over here? Would there be bombs? Would there be sanctions? How would it affect America? I'm very much America first, not to isolate us from the world scene, but I believe that our current administration, its biggest problem is ignoring the needs and ignoring the people and the citizenry of America, as you've seen with the illegal immigrants, as you see with other political policies and agendas. So my question would be, yes, Russia would retaliate, and because they are, if they're going to be attacked or whatever. But my question is, what and how would it affect and impact America? Because I believe we should be most concerned about our own country first and foremost.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll answer that. I think number one, I think what Russia is going to do, because the way things are spread out, especially they have things, and they know the same thing that stopped Hitler is you can't fight a war on multiple fronts. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to put boots on the ground. I think they're going to answer this with missile type attacks or aerial attacks of some kind or whatever else. I don't believe that they're going to immediately go ahead to a boots on the ground kind of campaign, because they're tied up right now over in the Ukraine. But yeah, they're going to hit this. And what does this mean for America? Well, you know what? I think right now the way the American government is, they're going to sit back and fold their arms, and they may say, "Oh well, poor Moscow, you got hit," but they're not gonna do thing one to turn around and help support Vladimir Putin. Oh.
Certainly, and again, that's my biggest fear. I think that's America's biggest fear too. This president is not only does he not know what he's doing day to day, but on an international and a military or national scene, even he seems completely lost. He is completely out of touch, and the faster that he's gone, the better. And the only thing I would say, the only saving grace is that he's around, so that what's her name, Kamala Harris doesn't get into the seat, because if she does, all hell's gonna break loose.
No kidding.
So if there's one saving grace about Biden being there, is that she's not in his seat. But so that's that, and I'm serious. I mean, that might sound funny, but I'm completely serious. I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on there, and all we can do, need to do is pray, but we need to get Mr. Biden out so we can get a good leader like Mr. Trump back in.
Absolutely. Christopher, I want to thank you very much for calling in. I wish you a wonderful, great night. We've got some more people apparently that have been contacting by text, saying that they want to call in. So if you'll excuse us, I want to thank you very much and move on. We've got some more information coming, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. God bless.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Okay, so interesting call. That's just it. I don't. Part of me, I don't see ISIS attacking Russia.
They just did.
With the Biden administration. No, I'm just saying, I mean, it really don't have anything to do with the United States, right? Technically, right? Because if, God forbid, something happens here in that country, Russians are saying, hey,
in the
it
purest
sucks.
sense, no, it happened on Russian soil. But the I don't know what you want to say. The implications of it happening and America not offering up a response,
Right.
especially after even in September the 11th, even the Russians offered some form of assistance when we were attacked in that way.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in about 40 seconds. We got to pay a couple of bills. Stick around for more The Way We See It, and we're going to get into this real quick. Just stick around. It's only 40 seconds. I got to pay bills, Just don't run for nothing. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around for more The Way We See It right here on the FFN network. The Way You See It airs every Tuesday night, Eastern Standard Time, right here in the United States, and we're all over the world. We're on 15 different platforms simultaneously. So check us out. We would like to thank everyone that's on X. I mean, Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, right? It's like you just can't say X. You got to let everybody know, hey, I used to be Twitter.
If you don't mind, I'd like to recap for those of me who be just joining us. Is that all right?
Yeah, recap away.
Yeah. Earlier, apparently, a terrorist attack in Moscow. A terrorist attack in Moscow, in a suburb of Moscow, in an exhibition venue that they have over there. There are people that were waiting for a concert to start or entering the building. Came a number of armed Islamic terrorists, if you will, ISIS, the Islamist State in Syria, has claimed responsibility for it. Scores are said to have been injured. There are at least 40, perhaps over 40 now, are known dead. A fire is still raging. It was said at the last report we've had was still out of control. People were trapped inside the buildings. Some were using tunnels where the underground, or what we know as subway, is in lower in the building. We're using the tunnels to escape that. However, they say they believe there are still some gunmen that are holed up and barricaded inside the building. The military they have called in helicopters to airdrop water on the burning building to try and control or put out the fire. And apparently, it's an absolute freak show that's going on over there. I can't, for the life of me, think of a more horrific experience these people to be going through at this time. According to the information that also I have, I believe they said that there was a capacity of I believe they said up to 7,000 people inside this arena. I don't know that could have been. I don't have that absolute confirmed, but it is a fairly large venue for people. And again,
we don't have that information, and we're not gonna talk about information that we don't have.
Okay, fair enough. In the meantime, I believe you had mentioned something about another video or recapping a video or something. Did you have that?
Okay, so they're on their little commercial right now, B. So
okay, all right.
But there is updates that are coming, and we're just waiting for them to bounce live to it.
Okay.
But while we're waiting for that, though, we did see on a ticker from another source that we were looking at that Kate Middleton, she has cancer.
Yeah. The Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton. Excuse me.
Middleton, yes.
Yeah, Kate Middleton. She's now the Princess of Wales. Her married name actually would be Kate Mountbatten. Has a form of cancer. They did not disclose what the cancer was, but they did state that she had abdominal surgery in January. Something was removed somewhere. They excite something, but and they did not believe at that time that there was cancer. However, pathology reports came back later on saying that they did find cancerous tissue or indications that there was cancer within her. They had said that they had strongly recommended to prevent or as a measure to guard against the cancer developing, rounds of chemotherapy, which apparently she has been enduring and doing
so that's
very well.
What did they say that she went into the hospital for in the first place?
They did not disclose exactly what it was. All that she had some
was
sort of abdominal
cramps.
ailment,
right?
Yes,
right.
Some sort of, but they did not say exactly what.
But then they had a surgery on her abdominal.
They did a surgery. They said they removed something. What? They didn't say.
They removed the tumor. Come on, B. They removed something. She's got cancer.
There are a number of things that they could have done. If one of the things,
all right,
could have been
here we go.
Colorectal.
Start though there in London as we got the news that the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, telling the world that she has cancer and that she is undergoing preventive chemotherapy treatments for it. This coming after weeks of speculation.
And we didn't pick Fox because we're Fox people and stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We picked the source that's coming out live as we are live ourselves.
After this announcement today, and more reaction coming in, including from the White House. President Biden there tweeting out this: Jill and I join millions around the world in praying for your full recovery, Princess Kate. We also heard from the First Lady as well. And just a poignant photo posted online by Kate Middleton's brother, James Middleton. I know we have that tweet as well. Take a look at this. Over the years, we have climbed many mountains together. As a family, we will climb this one with you too. How poignant there. In case you might have missed it or you haven't seen it just yet, it's about 2.5 minutes. This is how Kate Middleton told the world. Let's watch.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way that's appropriate.
She is already having treatment. She's already had a dose. Look at this poor little thing. She probably weighs at most 80 pounds. I mean, she was thin anyway. She was a thin woman anyways. But look at her eyes. Look at her. She's tired. She's already had treatment, man.
Well, all right.
Okay.
But she's
Let's finish
taking this
her up.
time and reaching out to folks.
Yeah, let's finish this up.
Appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body, and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support, and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space, and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
And ladies and gentlemen, we thank very much the Princess of Wales for those words and for all of the people that are dealing with some form of cancer or family members of people who are dealing with cancer. I'm sure they will appreciate it. It's amazing that someone who's going through something like this would not consider only herself, but considers the people, the masses. This is an amazing, generous, caring individual. This is truly the genuine article. Certainly not a Marie Antoinette type. This is what royalty is expected to be and should be. The lady espouses the best of her predecessor, the late Queen Elizabeth II. We've got some news, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Vlaisman has been wonderful. We've got another video, and again, this one is probably going to be difficult, so I will caution viewer discretion be advised. With that, Mr. Vlaisman, go ahead. If you could launch that, we've got some more video from inside Moscow. Are we rolling? Yes. Okay.
стреляют из автомата. Стреляют по толпе. Какие-то люди стреляют. Пока есть.
This is incredible, number one, that people are hiding. They're hiding and they're I don't understand people sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't uh I'm out of there. I am out of there. I'm not sticking around to watch any bloody video or take a video or anything to that. You know? No way. That's not me, man. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a coward, but if I had a gun, I'd shoot back. You know, right?
Oh, absolutely. The
But, ladies
crocus.
and gentlemen, for those of you that are joining us right now, we are discussing the ISIS attack in Moscow, along with Kate Middleton's diagnosis with cancer. I think it's just terrible news today. It's bad enough that Gaza attacked Israel on my freaking birthday. You know what I mean? So certainly not happy with that, you know?
Mr. Glazeman, I have some more confirmed information now about the Crocus Hall.
All right,
It is
buddy.
it is in Krasnozgusk, excuse me, Krasnozgusk, which is a suburb of Moscow, and it does seat a capacity of 7,300 people. So it isn't by no means a small venue.
Oh, that's why they went in there with a lot. How many were all together? 4, 5?
Well, I have heard a number of different numbers thrown at me. I've heard 3, I've heard 5, I've heard as many as 11. Again, I don't have any absolute confirmed number at this point.
Right. That's what we're looking for right now, the confirmations of the numbers. I agree with you because we don't report, again, anything on the FFN network or any of the shows that we don't have more than one source of fact. Go
Also,
ahead.
there could have been people who entered inside early in that were, if you will, sleepers that would come out and start fighting from within the crowd. Enter in as clandestine operatives, if you will. So we're not exactly certain how many total operatives there were in there, but apparently the one thing we're certain of, there was an awful lot of bloodshed, and it's a terrible thing to have happened, but it's also an incredible wake-up call, and we certainly hope that the government of Russia pays heed and realizes that they're playing with fire if they want to keep dancing around with the Iranians and their friends. This is just wrong. This is just wrong.
It sure is. It sure is. I don't. I mean, we'll keep track of it. If something breaks again, we'll definitely be back, you know. But again, you can catch this show the way we see it right here on the FFN network, Tuesday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States.
Absolutely.
We are on 15 different platforms, so there's a good chance that you might catch us on something. Go B.
We have the comment from Mr. Arch. He said, if you don't know where the shots are coming from, you need to be cautious, which is an absolute. People that are ducking or hiding or whatever else are doing the best that they can with what they have, especially while they're inside there. We can't Monday night quarterback for the people that were inside this venue. All we can do is pray and hope for the best, and as many get out that possibly can. And we have Mr. Archer said, having worked as a security contractor, please do not underestimate ISIS. They are capable and already here. And yes, I've said that. Mr. Arch, who is no slouch, by all means, the man knows what he's talking about, and his group knows what they are talking about. The I-12 GIA comes on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. and they give incredible information and insight, and they also train and give education to people. They do have classes that you can sign up for and so forth if you contact them. And I'm thankful to have the resource for those who help. Excuse me. Anyway, all of this having been said, we're coming up on the hour's time. We'll be on.
We got some stuff updating here. B,
Okay, please go ahead.
Don't get ahead of yourself, buddy.
I'm sorry. Please, by all means, go ahead.
Well, I'm working on it right now, so you continue because again,
all right.
make sure the story is credible.
Yeah, we will recap these things again. There were people who were getting ready for a concert to begin in a suburb of Moscow, and apparently ISIS operatives entered with AK-47 type rifles and began shooting, and they were shooting indiscriminately. It is said that scores are injured, at least 40, perhaps over, are known dead. The Moscow government people brought in many ambulances and police, fire, and also Moscow military. I believe the fire department also in Russia is run by the military. The ISIS people also brought with them Molotov cocktails, throwing them around in the venue, starting fires that apparently erupted into a large fire.
So right now, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hold on, got a frog. Okay, so as of right now, by the Associated Press, Russia says 40 dead, 145 injured in concert hall raid. Islamic State group claims the responsibility. So that's again, those numbers are 40 dead, and where the hell did this go on me, man? Stupid thing. Again, the Associated Press, Russia says 40 dead, 145 injured. B, 145
injured.
Okay, 145 people injured.
Was there any information as to the activity or the status of the attackers?
It said the Kremlin said Putin was informed minutes after the assailants burst into I can't pronounce the name of the place. It's in Russian. I apologize. Yeah, Caucasus. Yeah. A city hall, a large music venue on Moscow's western edge that can accommodate 6,200 people. Okay. The attack took place as crowds gathered for a performance by the Russian rock band Picnic. I have to check out Picnic. And as Russia Federal Security Services reported 40 dead and over 100 injured, some Russian news reports suggested that more could have been trapped by the blaze that erupted after the assailants threw explosives. They're saying explosive. Some reports are saying Molotov cocktails. And health authorities released a list of 145 injured, 115 of them hospitalized, including 5 children.
Terrible. Again, that venue being in
and we're gonna run I just scored a live video right now.
Oh, excellent.
From the scene. It's a live video, and man, anyways, and that's gonna be on the side of myself and Mr. B, so there's no confusion, and we'll load that up right now. So okay,
this is live coming from Krasnogorsk, which is a suburb of Moscow. We can see, apparently, you can still see a war cloud, if you will, of smoking. You see flames from the roof of the building still going on, and look at all of the emergency response vehicles that are still there. Good Lord! Apparently, that building is still burning out of control. I would call that flame. And I spent a number of years in the fire service. I think I could call that one well enough. Yeah, it appears to be out of control, and God help these people. 145 people shot
145 injured, 115 hospitalized,
and 40
including
dead.
5 children and 40 dead. Right
Uh,
now. Right now.
Right, right. Still, unfortunately, there's no information as to the status.
I mean, I have this low right
Yep.
now. And yeah, there's a lot of you can just hear the chaos. I don't want to put it too loud in case the person moves or whatever, but this is some live video.
Right.
And like you said, B, it looks like the mall is on fire pretty good.
Yep.
So
for those of you who might be the techie type of people, if you want to see if you can zoom in on it with something, the actual map coordinates of this venue is 55 49 33 north, 37 23 25 east. If you are the type that might be able to zoom into I guess satellite images and so forth, I'll give that again to you. It is 55 49 3 north, 37 23 25 east. And again, it's Krasnogorsk, which is a suburb of Moscow in Russia. And well, there is a helicopter. You can see that was just coming over. One light. That would be something if you folks enjoy going onto things like Google Earth. Again, thank you, Mr. Arch. That's where you can type that in and find information. Might be able to get another view of this. And it appears that, of course, these people do have things well situated.
yeah,
They're very well organized,
yeah.
which is well, it's organized chaos. Yes, but I mean, they're not all running around.
Oh, I'm just saying, I don't, you know how I get concerned and I get a little anal, you know what I mean? I don't want to report something that we're not familiar with. So I have no idea. You have no idea. The people that are watching this show right now, we have no idea if there's still terrorists in there, if they're hidden somewhere, and then there's going to be a gun battle down the road. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
We don't know, unfortunately, and
but we do have live video right here. Okay, and what happened? It's a live video, so I rewinded it a whole bunch of ways back, so that way I can kick forward.
Okay,
and see if we missed anything. So, yeah.
And we do have to take into consideration that we are dealing with something that is in Moscow, situated in Russia, and we know that a lot of times, many times, their media is not exactly as forthcoming with all of the information that they may have. So what we are getting is what dribs and drabs in and through, and if they don't want to give people certain information, they're not going to let it out. So we're dealing with whatever we possibly can.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the
information we've got.
That's going to be the other problem, Mr. B, is the fact that are we going to get, correct information out of Moscow,
Right. And here you can see the light, if you will, crossing the screen, going through that cloud that was there. There was another helicopter going through. There you go. And I don't know if this is something that's going to, as I said before, yes, you see the thing dangling from the bottom of it? It's probably been dropping water. They usually have the water buckets like they use in wildfires, trying to extinguish the blaze in the building. What a terrible thing for these people to have to be going through. I can't imagine what the people in the community themselves must be going through, and the fright that they're feeling, seeing this going on in their own
family members
backyard.
Family members. I mean, my God, I would lose my mind watching a newscast like this, knowing that one of my children or husband or whatever family members there to watch that show.
And you have no idea whether or not they would wind up having their like things like cell service and whatever else might be overburdened or wind up shutting down completely, so they can't get a hold of Misha or whoever or whatever. They can't get a hold of their loved one, their mother, father, daughter, son, whatever. Trying to find out whether or not they've survived, whether or not they're injured. And I pray that all of the hospitals that these people are being brought to are able to deal with as many injured as they were. Again, I worked in the fire service, and I worked in the Metro Boston area, and I've seen what happens when major trauma facilities get overburdened. It's amazing what can happen. I know they do the best that they possibly can to deal with it, but when you get inundated with a large mass incident like something like this, uh, anything goes. You don't know how well the facilities are going to be able to hold up. Pardon me, before they get themselves overburdened and are no longer able to deal with the onslaught of the injured coming in. We can only hope that they have enough blood on hand and enough facilities, bandages, and of course all the rest of the things for precautions to keep from cross contaminations and so forth. But again, you have to deal with what comes at you, when it comes at you, and how it comes at you as best as you possibly can. Uh, all of that having been said, we certainly do. Our hearts go out to the people of Russia at this time that are going through something like this. No, I do not care a brass farthing for their government, but for the people themselves. Of course, I know myself and all the members of the FFN studios all truly do wish them nothing but good and hope that this situation gets resolved as quickly as it possibly can. It's amazing to see the things that are going on here like this, and it's just horrific. And then you can see now incoming another helicopter. It's probably going to make another water drop to the building. And seeing that they're doing water drops like this is telling me that maybe they're not able to get their fire service people inside the building to quench the flames, because if they're not able to get the fire service people inside the building because of the flames, it's either a matter of, at this point, it's just beyond their being able to control it, or perhaps they still have shooters inside the building. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't make an absolute informed information or decision because I don't have that information. But all of this having been said, we can only hope that this gets taken care of and rectified out to a good outcome as best as possible, considering 40 dead and all of those injured and the people that are all hospitalized. My goodness, we do have some other information coming in.
I'm getting some work done, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
Yep, we do that. We do have another video that will be coming up shortly, I know. And Blazeman, God bless you for the work that you're doing. Now, I don't know if anybody really is familiar with how large the area is, but again, the venue that we're talking about it's a larger facility where it's apparently it has an exhibition hall and shops and so forth through it. So it's not just an exhibition venue. The Crocus City building, again, well, the information that I have is that it has 7,300 seats. We did hear that it had, what was it, 67 or 6,800 from someone else, unfortunately. Well, it could be updated. I don't know. But there is also other areas of the building that could be affected that maybe also may have ISIL people waiting in it or hiding or going through it. The attacks that went on apparently did not take only a short period of time. They were in there apparently for quite a period in order to be able to do the damage that they had done, throw Molotov cocktails, and set off. Apparently, they say that there were some explosives that were brought in, and that sort of stuff doesn't happen in only a matter of a few seconds. So these people were under a sustained attack for quite a period of time. And this is something that apparently was very well planned out because these people knew what to do, when to do it, and where to go in order to carry it out, in order to get a fire like this going and do as much damage and as much injury and as much mayhem as they have caused. What a terrible thing altogether for these people to have gone through. You got something else coming up there, Blazeman? I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, sir. I'm working on the same thing. It was a little glitch. I had to fix it.
Oh,
okay.
And again,
so right now I'm getting some of our sources are hitting. So we have people that are part of FFN network, and we they send us everything. They just start going crazy with us with some videos here. This one, it's a great video that we got sent, but for me, it's not a pleasant video, so I am not gonna play it. So
we have a responsibility.
Poroshenko, who is quite prolific on Twitter, said this: "Is Putin repeating the Nordost scenario of October of 2002? Well, what is that?
Well, the Nordost scenario was where, as I recall, that was the apartment block where he blew up the apartment block, and then they used it as a pretext to invade Chechnya, and using second.
Sorry, Hal. It was the theater center. The theater center in Moscow.
The theater center. I'm sorry. Yeah, the theater center where they went in there. Yeah.
Right. And to your point, Putin and the FSB, according to Poroshenko, led the operation personally, according to some sources there. Somewhat of an internal false flag, so to speak. And so I'm not, saying that is what happened in Moscow tonight. But historically, Putin has had it in him to do just that, right?
He has, and that's why everybody's concerned. And you got to remember, Putin is a little bit desperate right now. Even though they've had some very modest gains on the battlefield in Ukraine, they've been a tremendous cost. So you can't really put anything beyond Putin in terms of orchestrating some sort of attack like this in order to point it towards some external enemy. Now, this doesn't quite line up with what he'd like to do. In the past, if you go back 20 years, it seemed to be much cleaner in terms of what he did. But this one, definitely, he's going to try and use this for his own political purposes.
Okay.
This reminds me a little bit, though, of as you mentioned previously in a segment of Iran, and they were caught a little bit off guard when Soleimani's memorial service was hit by ISIS, and I think this is the same thing. And if you remember what Iran did, they started attacking various targets in Pakistan and Iraq, which were truly unrelated at all to ISIS. It was just basically a show of force, and that's what everyone's probably looking at here is Putin just going to lash out in order to show strength, but what will he lash out and do? And unfortunately, Putin has a lot of capabilities at his disposal, so everybody's going to watch very closely to see what his response will be on this, because I don't really think he has a way to respond directly to ISIS in any substantial way.
Hal, I think when people hear this report in the New York Times that, according to U.S. officials, a branch of the Islamic Caliphate is claiming responsibility for this, they might have to ask themselves, maybe they are, how would any element or cell of ISIS want to, one, target Russia or even go to Russia? How are they even in the vicinity of Moscow in the first place to perpetuate and carry out such an attack? Of course, we all remember 2013, 2014, 2015, Paris, Brussels, Barcelona, all of Nice, all of these ISIS-inspired Islamic terror attacks in many prominent European locales that killed a lot of people. Do you see similarities to that, to what we're seeing tonight there in Moscow?
You know, it's interesting. There could be similarities, but there is a distinct difference. Russia does have Islamic minorities, if you will, that are oppressed, that have lended themselves to extremist causes in the past. And if you look at what's going on in Russia itself, amongst the other things, is they're brutally suppressing some of these areas. It would not be certainly outside possibility that these are Russians themselves, although they may claim another nationality, well, the groups in Russia, and that they have simply used this as an affiliation to justify their attacks. And we've seen that elsewhere in the world where locals suddenly claim to do something, and I say locals are in the area, in the region, do some sort of terrorist attack and then claim it as an ISIS attack or claim some sort of affiliation publicly with ISIS, even though the threads are a little tenuous. It's not like they have a registered identification card with ISIS or something like that. They just claim they do something and then they claim it's ISIS inspired. And certainly ISIS is not the most cohesive, centrally controlled organization that it was, say, 2015 or 16. So something like this could very well happen, that it could be some group that's really irritated and they just needed to put a label on it as to what they were doing.
You know, Hal, obviously everyone's talking about if this is somewhat tangential to the war in Ukraine, but I just thought when I was speaking with you, you know, Russia was front and center in Syria in trying to rout ISIS. I mean, was it not? I mean, could that be an element of this, Russia's role in Syria, aiding Bashar al-Assad, of ridding his country of ISIS elements back in 2015 and onward? Do you think that has a material effect? Did you think about that when you heard about this?
I think Syria is a very distinct possibility. I don't know if these were Syrians, or if these were ISIS members from Syria that were up there. There's also a kind of a tangential possibility that Russia has been helping Iran with in the wake of the Soleimani attack, because of the close relationship between Russia and Iran. And then you have to remember what Russia's been doing in Africa. They've been all over the Sahel. You know, their influence is being felt in all sorts of strange ways. There's been a number of coups, military coups there, or coup d'etats that have Russian fingerprints all over them. So there's a lot of places where Russia would raise the ire, if you will, of those who are either formally affiliated with ISIS or claim to be associated with ISIS in some other way that they might want to do this. But I got to tell you, I kind of go with Occam's razor on this. I go the most direct path. And the most direct path would be that these would be individuals probably in Russia that are simply using ISIS as a label for what they're doing. Even though they may have been involved with some sort of ISIS-related faction or whatever for quite some time, but they're using the ISIS moniker, if you will, as taking credit for the attack.
You know, Hal, I wanted to ask you, too, because you have such experience here when these horrible attacks happen in the United States, and we are no stranger here to mass shooting, mass casualty incidents. But this is somewhat of another complexion, another flavor here. Hal, when you talk about the response by Russian security services and law enforcement there, what happens next? What measures are they going to take? We know that all public gatherings have been canceled throughout the weekend, but we also know there's already a crackdown on free speech in Russia in the wake of the war, should I say, the special military operation. What do you think?
Okay, these guys are going in. I'm going to give a little information for you about things, about the weapons we use. We know that these people, when they went in, the ISIS terrorists went in firing automatic weapons. They used the AK-47. It's not a style, it is an actual gun. The AK-47 rifle, which was named AK for Alexei Kalashnikov. Kalashnikov himself designing and building the rifle back just in the area of the World War II era, at the backside of World War II or just after World War II came out with it. It fires the 7.62 by 39 round. It is it has its cartridge case which steps down a little bit and has usually a copper jacketed projectile. And it goes at a muzzle velocity of 2,350 feet per second, provided the gun that's firing it doesn't have something like a compensator or a silencer, which these people weren't using, of course. They were just going ahead and firing away. I don't know if we've got any information, a photo of it. I'd love to be able to put it up and show you what the ammunition looks like. But I don't know, Mr. Blazeman, can you find something about that, or do you have anything like that available?
What's that?
Do you have an image available of what the 7.62 by 39 military round looks like? Or
I might. Give me a sec.
Okay, if you've got well, I understand. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now these things themselves come usually with standardly a 30-round magazine. However, these people usually put larger magazines on them. They have magazines that are long, banana type looking, that curve out. Also, they have magazines which would have 1 or 2 drums on each side, capable of holding, I believe, capable of holding well over 100 rounds of ammunition. So they can just keep firing and firing. And we have other information from Mr. Charles Arch. It also has no recoil spring, which apparently, when firing that, allows them to keep on target much better control, if I'm not mistaken. Perhaps Mr. Arch can elaborate on that for certain. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. What you're looking at now
can't elaborate on it because he's in a chat. So
okay, all right.
We'll be here forever reading his stuff.
But this, what you're looking at now, is the 7.62 by 39 ammunition that is used in the AK-47, the Alexei Kalashnikov AK-47, and the 47 was because of the year that it actually was put together, just after post World War II, when it went into production. He had been working on it during the World War II era. If you look at the projectile that's inside the case, that is depicted here, is indeed copper jacketed at 2,350 feet per second. The muzzle velocity, when that goes into a person, the amount of damage that it will do is absolutely horrific. So it's just amazing. And what around it may look small, but when it goes into a person, the amount from the shockwave of it going into, I've seen what this can do to ballistics gelatin and to human flesh. And ladies and gentlemen, believe me, these people are going through a terrible time, having been hit with it. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we've had our own military people who have been ravaged by these rounds of ammunition, and unfortunately, it's a terrible, terrible thing to go through. But the AK-47s these people have, they went in there just firing indiscriminately into these people, apparently, and they just were unrelenting. We're going to be with you now for probably about another 5 minutes. Then it's going to be, we're going to let you folks go ahead and see what you can find out from the ordinary news agencies. I thank you very, very much for tuning in. I want to thank and reach out to all of the news agencies.
If there's anything that comes up prior, then we will report it. Right now, everything is all the same. So all we're going to do to you fine folk is just repeat everything that's the same, because there's nothing new that's coming out right now. So anything super breaking, we'll let you, we'll be here. So like and share us. Okay. We're on 15 different platforms, and I'll give you a rundown of some of them that we're on. We are on, of course, Facebook. We are on, we are on D-Link, Telegram. We are on Kick. We are on Discord. We are on YouTube. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are on Twitch. And we, again, like I said, Facebook and all of those, and Telegram. And we're just everywhere right now. So current time in Moscow is 3:52 a.m. It's tomorrow already. So it's already Saturday there. You know what I mean, B?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And God only knows what's going to happen with those people that are over there. We do have again a message from Mr. Arch. He has information about further information about the AK-47. If you are able to access that information, perhaps you can put it up for the people here so we can give them a little more a little more education as to what they're doing, and maybe people will realize here in the United States why we need more than just 10 rounds of ammunition in our guns to protect ourselves and protect our people.
Oh, are you trying to flip that stuff around, huh, B?
I'm just calling it like it is. This is the way we see it, ladies and gentlemen, and we're giving it to you the way we see it.
Right, exactly, the way we see it. Let me see if I can get something up here to help educate our fine viewers here on exactly what an AK-47 looks like, what it does, the whole shooting shebang, folks. So let me get up there, take a look here. All right, I got that, B. We're good.
Beautiful, excellent.
So actually I got the wrong one up, but so let me just fix it. Where they get that from us, B?
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, where else are you going to get information like this about the AK-47 and the ammunition that they're firing? Here you go.
Look at that. You know, recoil, spring button, dust cover. Okay, so what do you want to say about it? It's except for the United States, it's every other country's choice of gun except for Britain, because they get most of their weaponry and we get weaponry from them, and they all have their own tech. And besides that, everybody else is doing an AK-47.
Germany, Great Britain, they're using things that are made by Heckler and Koch. The Norse people are doing things that are also made elsewhere. But
I mean, I read,
and this is the choice of the terrorist, is the AK-47.
I mean, I read articles that this thing, one guy, when he was, in Iraq or whatever, and something happened to his gun, and he picked up an AK-47, and the barrel was bent a little bit on it. And that son of a bitch still fired and fired and fired and fired.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Terrible.
So
it's amazing. It's amazing what those things do. And they're so incredibly easy to quickly take down. If you get a jam or something like that, take the thing apart, clear it, clean it out. If you got something stuck in a barrel or else, snap it back together and boom, you're off going.
Yeah, it works. That's why, it's a very efficient weapon. But with that being said, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in and checking out this breaking news right here on the FFN network and the way we see it. Again, everyone, peace and love. Have a great night. Also, don't forget to check out the way we see it every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the United States. Wednesdays, we have Politicking with Mr. B from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All shows are Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen, and they're all from the United States. So, again, Politicking with Mr. B from 7 to 9 p.m. And then from 8 to 9 p.m. on the FFN network is I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People. Excellent show. Then Thursday night is the Miss Tammy and Blazeman show. What a great show. It's a couple that's, they've been together for like 25 years. 28 years. Oh, my God. Longer. I think it's longer.
You said that.
Anyways, So yeah, and they have a great show. They give away prizes, all of that. So that's the Miss Tammy and Blazeman show that comes on Thursday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. You might want to check that out. Maybe you could win a prize. And then Monday night is Unboxed Thoughts with Nick Parsons. The great show. That's from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Monday. You might want to tune into that, or just go to FFN Radio Network on Facebook page and get some information there from us. And of course, we're on YouTube and all the other platforms I had mentioned. Again, so that with that being said, listen, peace and love to each and every one of you out there. Be kind. If you got it, give it. And let's just be nice to one another. Mr. B?
Ladies and gentlemen, if we have anything more for you, we'll be happy to come out and put it out. I ask you now to refer to your independent news agencies, see what else you can find out. I thank you very much for tuning in, and we bless you all and wish you all safe. Stay aware. Watch. If you see something, say
something.
We'll see you. I'm Mr. B. For the way we see it, I'll end with Mr. Blazeman. Thank you very much. Have a good night.